Well, this is one of our tiled tables, and it's been with us for quite a long time. And it's going tomorrow to the other side of the country with its new owners. And I wanted to show it to you because I think I'm quite looking forward to making another one. And I thought I might share that online. So that's the table. It has an oak base and a slate top, and we have the slate top made so that it'll accept a panel of 8 5-inch tiles, and it's a nice construction. It makes an incredibly solid table, and I thought I could show you the workshop and some of the jigs and some of the stuff that we use to make this. And I don't think there's anything especially complicated about it, and it's a fairly simple construction. So this is a woodwork shop in here, which well, I'm sure you've seen tidier shops than this, but I have been fixing a boat up over the last 3 days, and I've finally got it out of the yard now and got it back to where it belongs, and so that's going to free up a little bit of space. Well, we got a dimensioning saw here, which is quite an old one. It's a Wadkin cast iron dimensioning saw. It has got a sliding table on it. I don't use the sliding table a lot, but I do tend to use a sled on top of it. And I've got a couple of these mitre saws, and lots of people have got these now, and they've become really popular. And we did a lot of building restoration, so I use these a lot. And actually, I've been through about 4 of them, and this one's been back for repair a couple of times, and I've got the smaller one as well. That's down the other end of the shop there, and but you can't chop out with that one because the radial arm moves up and down on it. That's another Milwaukee thing, which I'm drilling out quite a large 16-18 mil hole on the boat yesterday on a big block of acacia to accept a rollock, and it's blown its capacitor in the handle, and it's a nuisance. It does it every time you put it under a lot of pressure. It's I say every time. I've done it twice, and it goes off with a big pop and cloud of smoke, and you know, I'm not really sure why it is. I wonder whether it's a voltage thing, because we're on 240 volts here, and this is an American tool, but you know, we're used to American gear in this country, and by and large it's very good. I like American tools. They're really good. We got quite a lot of Bosch gear, and I'm going to be showing you some of the stuff that we use, because I always find it interesting to see what other people use when they're making stuff, and you pick up sort of ideas and so on from other people, particularly with regard to the gear that they're using, and quite sort of handy to be able to see what other people are doing. We got a spindle moulder in here, and that's quite an interesting machine. It's a Swedish machine made by Mortens, although they've been taken over by an American company now, Woodmiser, I think. And I think they're still made in Sweden, but it's quite an interesting machine because the motor pivots through 270 degrees, which is unusual for a spindle moulder, to put it mildly. You usually get 45 degrees out of a tilting spindle moulder, but it's rare to get more than that. That's a handy bit of gear. Big belt sander, often used in a metalwork trade actually, but I did have one of those twin drum sanders, but I found it a pain in the neck. It didn't like hardwood at all. Used to trash the loadings on it for a pastime, and it's very expensive to replace them. So I in the end I sold it. There's what is that? Is that Woking? Union Graduate lathe down there, and we use that to make lids for some of the storage jars that we do in the pottery and all kinds of stuff really. We've got a nice big bandsaw here, and it's really useful building restoration work to have a resaw. And so we use to sort of take about 1.25 inch blade, something like that. It's probably what it's got in it at the moment, I think. And that's a nice machine because the table's at a very usable height and not too difficult to get around it. We've got a smaller bandsaw that we use for detail work, and all kinds of stuff we use that on. We got pillar drill, and a lot of this stuff I used on site and brought it down here into the workshop after the last project that we finished, and here it's been ever since. So we got a Checkmate planer thicknesser here. You guys in the States tend to use two different machines for this, but these these combined jointers and thicknessers are very popular in the UK, and mostly they have a bed that lifts out of the way, but this one doesn't actually. It's fixed, and it's a good machine. The thicknessing bed's quite long on it, but the jointing table on the top is very, very short. That's a compromise you sometimes have to accept when you're using these. That's a mortising machine. A Multico is a ubiquitous mortising machine in the UK. They're everywhere. You can buy them very cheaply. A good machine, and I don't use it that often, to be honest. We'll use it on the table though, so you'll be able to see it if you're interested in that, because you can pick those up for a couple of £100, and they'll last forever. So yeah, there's the big Milwaukee saw. I don't know. I was watching somebody's video the other day, and he was replacing his sliding miter saw with basically a table saw, and I think you need a good dimensioning saw when you're making furniture, and but in the building trade and building restoration, those sliding miter saws are really useful. That one has an angle finder on the end of it. It's double bevel, so it goes in both directions, so to speak, and shows you what angle you're cutting there. But actually, what you really need when you're doing building restoration is a laser on them, and because there's no such thing as a standard angle in an old building, and you know, working like we do on buildings that could be 400 or 500 years old, you're just not going to find any kind of normal angle on it. Just see if I can get this into focus a little bit. and it's a while since I've used this. I don't know where I am with it. I've just got a load of jigs on the bench here, and one of the ones that we'll be using is this one, because this is half of an end of the coffee table, and there'll be various other bits here. I don't think that's part of it actually, but I know, you know, I'm going to have to go through these. It's a while since I made one of those tables, so we have sold a few of them, and I think there's all kinds of jigs and stuff, from tables and handles and drawers and dressers and light fittings and pendant lights in particular, wall lights, kitchens, goodness only knows what, and it all fetches up on shelves over here. And like I say, there's a few little discoveries I've made over the years, and got some quite interesting sort of anecdotes on hand tools and power tools and cordless stuff, and God knows what. And it's all changing all the time, and new stuff's coming in, but we're very slow about making investments in new gear, because we're not doing the kind of work nowadays to justify the expense on it, to be perfectly honest. So we've got some pretty good stuff that's stood us in good stead for a number of years. And when we set this workshop up here, we set it up with quite nicely with a good ring main around the ceiling, and we've got emergency stops and you know, up to date wiring and so on and so forth. All the gear in this side of the building actually is single phase. We don't have any 450 volt stuff here. It's all 240 volt, and sometimes on building sites in the UK, people buy 110 volt stuff which you can run off a transformer. I know in the States that's your standard voltage, and you know, that, I mean, the jury's out on which is better. I think I wouldn't want to get involved in that argument, really. I have been on both sides of the Atlantic, and I don't really notice a massive difference. Anyway, there we are. So I'm going to make a little bit of a change from the pottery and move into here and start the construction of one of these tables. And first of all, I got to select the wood, which is in a barn about 3 miles away, and so we might have a look at that, because that's a building restoration project that we're supposed to be starting on at some point. And I think I'd like to show you that as well, because we're doing the well, I'm doing the building drawings and application for that, and you might find that interesting, because we're in a national park here, and the planning is quite sensitive, rather oversensitive in my view, but nonetheless, I think if you're thinking about doing anything like that, you might find that an interesting story to follow. Anyway, that's just a short one, so and I just wanted to, I know we haven't made any videos for a couple of weeks now, and we've been very busy trying to sort stuff out in advance of the summer holidays and so on. And as you can see, there's still stuff lying around in the workshop. It's got to be finished and dealt with before we can start a new project, take us into the winter. So anyway, there you are. If you are interested in any of that, like and subscribe to the channel, but particularly subscribe to us, because that way you'll get some kind of notification when we embark on the next project. And hope to catch up with you then.